All right, so we're going to talk about how a dog learns and communication. So, the first thing you have to understand is that dogs only have the brain of about a 2-year-old child. They say there are some dogs that have the brain of a 5-year-old child, but honestly, those dogs are going to be few and far between. I would put those dogs in the high end military working dogs, not in a pet dog typically. You may get into a 1.5 year, 2-year-old brain. You may get into the 2.5, 3-year-old brain with some dogs that you're going to have at home. It's not going to be your typical pet dog. They're just not bred for that. So when people think their dog is so intelligent, you have to understand they're working on drives, not on high intellect. So when we communicate with the dog, we have to take things back just a little bit and understand that we're dealing with a 2-year-old. We're not dealing with an adolescent. We're not dealing with a teenager that sometimes we feel like we need to bear down on, right? So if you scold a 2-year-old all the time, even when you're asking for a behavior, like pick your toys up, and you simply pick your toys up, pick your toys up, pick your toys up. You're in a commanding tone and commanding action, and dogs do understand tonality. So we don't have to scold the dog in a sense with our voice. If we do, then they can become afraid, and then they're trying to figure out what to do to please you. So we want to make sure that we use a soft voice, and if we ask for behavior, not commanding, expect it. So if we say sit, the dog should sit. If the dog doesn't sit, we're not going to ask it to sit, 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 sit. And a lot of times people will say sit when they're trying to impress their friends because they expect their dog to do it, and they really just hope the dog's going to do it. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to say uh-uh. Now the reason I use uh-uh versus no is because the dog already understands uh-uh. The reason they do is because it's a negative sound in your throat. Understanding that dogs really work and communicate in their vocals based on grunts, growls, groans, barks. So they understand that negative inflection in your throat without being harsh or ugly. Some people will yell uh-uh or eh. I don't see the need to do that. I think that if you just say uh-uh and expect the dog to do what it's supposed to do with your leash and interruptions for its brain because it's working on drives again and it's thinking about something else, then you can teach your dog to react with your calm voice. And the more calm you are, then the less amped up your dog gets. So we have to work on that. In the same thinking, when we talk about how to talk with the dog, we have to apply very simple relationship values to how we talk to our dog. And remember that good relationship has good communication. Bad relationship has bad communication. So if we want a good relationship with our dog, then we have to simply communicate properly. When we do that, then the dog knows our expectations and can live within the parameters that we set, and it reduces their anxiety and improves their confidence in us overall as a leader. So speaking to your dog, don't repeat sit, sit, sit. Sit one time, and then if the dog doesn't perform, the dog doesn't perform again, maybe a quick leash interruption. Dog looks, assumes the position, good. Don't touch the dog. There's no rush to reach in, touch the dog, and overstimulate the dog. And we have to be very careful how we speak to our dogs. And that's it.